A newly established mother named April had her life turned upside down after she was introduced to drugs. April's drug usage got worse, leading her to losing her children and being arrested for many drug-related crimes. She got the help she needed to get her children back, not through prison, but through treatment facility Phoenix House Citrus Center. April was very persistent with her treatment, stating that she is taking it one day at a time. Another successful recovery story from Addie Jaffe, a former drug addict who spent about a year in treatment and is now getting a PhD specializing in addiction, states that treating addicts with 30-day programs is a horrendous idea. Almost nobody changes a habit in 30 days. The National Institute on Drug Abuse has long recommended a minimum of 90 days residential treatment. Most people don't get that, and rehab for a month is just not enough. Prison inmates who are addicted to drugs often smuggle drugs into the prison and do not receive the treatment they need, which is a problem because when the prisoners are released back into society, they are still addicts and are likely to commit drug-related crimes again. The National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse reports that 65% of inmates in the United States meet the medical criteria for drug addiction, but only a mere 11% of them are given treatment. This means that being incarcerated does not help addicts recover and better themselves when put back into society. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, approximately 39% of prisoners that were released were arrested again within only 5 years for drug offenses, 38% for property offenses, and 29% for violent offenses. There are 3 opposing views which I will describe and discredit to my belief that addicts who commit non-violent crimes should receive treatment instead of imprisonment. One opposing view to my proposition could be that addicts could stop using drugs if they wanted to. This way of thinking is false because drug addiction is not a choice and is proven to be a chronic disease. A second opposing view could be that addicts accused of crimes should be punished so that they learn their lesson and do not commit more crimes. Punishment would not help addicts learn their lesson because when they were finished with their sentence and released, they would still have the cravings for the drugs, which are cravings so intense that the addict is unable to think clearly or use proper judgment. This poor judgment is what leads to crimes committed while on drugs, or to be able to purchase more drugs. A third opposing view could be that smuggling drugs into prisons could extend the prisoner's sentence, therefore the prisoner would not attempt such actions. Drug addiction leaves individuals with a constant craving for the drug that overpowers any other feeling and makes them unable to use proper judgment. The solution to the problem of prison not being able to eliminate addiction would be to instead sentence addicts to a 90-day minimum treatment with rehabilitation centers and assist them to avoid relapse. When their sentenced rehabilitation treatment was over, they would have to check in every so often to verify their sobriety, and if they relapsed, they would be sentenced to go back to another rehab facility. As former addict Addie Jaffe states, a misconception is that addictions are almost impossible to overcome. If you fail one rehab with one version of treatment, it doesn't mean you can't get better. It means you have to try again. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, there are over 14,500 drug treatment facilities in the U.S. that provide a variety of services to aid in the recovery of addiction. There will be many benefits to society if addicts receive the treatment they need rather than being incarcerated, such as prison costs going down, more jobs being created for those aiding in treatments, and crime levels going down. I quote Susan E. Foster, CASA's Vice President and Director of Policy Research and Analysis, who said, "States complain mightily about their rising prison costs, yet they continue to hemorrhage public funds that could be saved if they provided treatment to inmates with alcohol and other drug problems, and stepped up use of drug courts and prosecutorial drug treatment alternative programs. With good-paying jobs being hard to come by, it will benefit us greatly to have jobs created for those who would assist addicts with their treatment." According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, the percentage of arrestees who were under the influence of drugs at the time of their crimes in 1992 was between 38 to 85% in 24 cities studied, and the percentage for those who committed crimes in order to obtain money for drugs was 17%. We can all take action toward reaching this solution by signing a petition to our government to help end drug addiction. The petition will specify that the laws need to be changed to make it so that addicts who commit nonviolent crimes while under the influence or for drug money should receive a sentence of a 90-day minimum treatment from rehabilitation centers and be followed up on post-treatment instead of being incarcerated. The petition will explain the needs and benefits for changing these laws. All you have to do is sign to make your voice heard and improve our society.